Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and part 10, the final reveal of the Asuka 1/35 scale M4A3 76 wet VVSS Late. So here it is in all of its splendor, or whatever you want to call it. So first I'm going to give you my thoughts on the kit itself. Everything about the Asuka kits I really like. I've built 3 Asuka kits, one of them being an Edward reboxing of an Asuka kit that came with certain decals. But all of them, they really fit together well. The detail is really good. They're not real. They're a good balance between a lot of extra detail and ease of construction. So they're kind of, I would say they're kind of in between, say, Dragon, although I have, Dragon and Tamiya. The detail's better than Tamiya, but there's not as many parts as Dragon, I don't think. But some of the parts that Dragon might have on this kit is something that's molded on, which is fine. It avoids having to mess with a lot of little fiddly things. So it's really good mix of buildability and really good detail. Let's put it that way. As far as the fit goes, everything fits really well. The only thing that was, I don't want to say it was a problem, it was kind of my own doing as well, but one of the kind of cam adjusters for the idler wheel for adjusting the tension on the track, where it goes into the actual hull, it seems like the hole is a little angled, so the idler isn't like completely in line with everything else. It's kind of cocked to one side. I was able to bend it a little bit to get it straight, and that's fine. And it's something that could have been fixed, but that's really the only thing that doesn't just like totally fit 100%, in my opinion. The details are really good. Some people complain about the fiddly nature of the bogey system, but it's not really that bad after you've done a few of them. It's pretty easy. So, it really works pretty good. Let's see. I don't really know what else to say. It's just a really good kit. Asuka kits, I think, are my favorite Sherman kits. And I have another one in the stash right now. And I'm going to be building that one sometime in the near future after some other projects. But it just goes really well, and I really like the kit overall. Now, one thing that, in hindsight, if I were to do it over, I would not use the kit tracks. And the main reason is they seem to be just a little bit long, and I've got this weird kink here that I should have paid attention to and made sure it was on like an idler or something, or even the drive sprocket to kind of even it out, but I cheated only weathered the outside part of the tracks on the front and rear. I didn't do this part up in here. So if I tried to turn them right now, I'd have to go back and re-weather everything, and I'm not sure I can remember the sequence I used. So, but I'm really partial to individual length tracks, specifically the ones I use most on Shermans or Sherman-based vehicles are the Kaizen tracks. I've done some earlier reviews on those and used them on other models, and I think I would do that again in the future. But as far as the detail goes, the detail's good on them. It's not bad. Another complaint, and it's not the fault of the tracks themselves, is I just can't seem to get a finish to stick to it. I can prime it and paint it. I can just paint it only. I can use acrylic paints, water-based acrylic. I can use alcohol-based acrylics like Tamiya. Once you start working with them and trying to get them fit onto the running gear, paint starts flaking off, and it's just kind of a pain. So, you know, that's not usually a problem with the individual length tracks, because those don't flex. They hinge and they move, but the plastic or the vinyl or whatever it is itself is not flexing and causing stress on the paint. But in this case, it was easy to cover up with mud and stuff like that. But again, it's just a matter of figuring out what kind of paint works good on it. For the paint, I used Olive Drab XF62 by Tamiya. Darkened underneath and around the lower extremities, and then just plain color on the rest of it, and then hit it with a little bit of a highlight of the XF62 mixed with XF59 Desert Yellow to lighten it up a little bit, but yet not make it too yellowish or greenish. It just helps lighten the color up pretty well. For the decals were fine. I used Archer Dry Transfers on the turret stars, but for the actual decals, I used the kit decals, and they worked out really well. I find that if I use Model Master Acryl, that's gloss. I want flat. Where's my flat? Wow. Well, here, we'll use semi-gloss. I don't know where my flat is. This works really well to give a nice flat finish and kind of blend the decal carrier film in with the surface of the tank, so it's not as sharp, so when you start weathering, you don't end up with a ridge around the edge of dirt and dust on the edge of an invisible line. So that's the decals. One of the things I like about these kits is they include, for the like Commander's Cupola, a green part with holes so you can glue in the periscope, the glass, or they give you just an entirely clear piece and you can mask these off and paint it over. And that's what I like doing, because it's molded flush, so it looks really good. You don't have any edges to worry about or anything like that. You know, any seam lines from where the glass doesn't fit up in there just right. I think that's a really good touch on the Asuka kits. The only aftermarket I put on here was these tarps with an ammo can in the middle. I think it's Legends is the brand, and I got it with another set, and it just so happens that it fits perfectly on this storage shelf on the back. So I painted that up and put that on there just to add a little bit of interest to it. And then I did a mini art figure, and I'm not going to get a close-up on it because, you know, it's not my best work. But I'm trying to learn how to paint these things, and this one actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm starting to try and work with highlights and shadows and not cheat and use washes and stuff like that, but to actually paint the colors on. I used the Abteilung 502 oils for the face after doing a base layer of model color, or yeah, Vallejo model color flesh, basic flesh color as a base, and then do the oils over top. But the figures are really good. There's some flash on some of it, but that's to be expected on molded styrene parts, and it cleaned up rather well, and I'm pretty stoked with it. I mean, I've got a long ways to go with my figure painting abilities, but I'm working on it. So anyway, that's pretty much it. It was a really fun kit. I'd like to thank Harold Adams again for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. He knows I love Shermans, and he thought he'd, you know, do a nice thing and send me a couple of them. That's the other one I have in the stash. It's a different, it's an M4A1, I believe. But thanks again, Harold, if you watch this. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the build. And they're just a lot of fun. And there's just so much you can do with a Sherman. But great kit. I would recommend an Asuka kit if you haven't tried one. And just have a lot of fun with it. So that's pretty much it. At the end of the video, after my closing remarks, I will add a slideshow of the kit, so you can get, you know, a little bit better look, I guess. So anyway, thanks for following along on this lengthy series of builds. Thanks for all the comments and suggestions. If you have any more comments or suggestions or anything like that, put them in the comments section down below. I really appreciate all the feedback. And until next time, thanks for joining me here on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude with the Asuka Sherman M4A3. And until next time, I will see you all later.